if you were a free agent, then you could choose where you were going to go.
Right.
That's the business.
Yeah.
But when you're not and you sign a deal, man, that's part of the business, bro. If you get traded somewhere, like, you got to go play, man. You know what I mean? Like,
what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard continues to force his way out of Portland, having requested a trade from the Trailblazers. Lillard has reportedly set his sights on joining the Miami Heat. Strange thing is, it doesn't appear that every NBA player is a fan of the veteran point guard's decision. Doc Rivers' son, Austin Rivers, was confident enough to talk about the Damian Lillard situation. During a recent episode of his podcast, he called Lillard's trade request bad for the league. Though he went on to compliment Damian Lillard's game, calling him one of the hardest players he has guarded his entire life, but maintained his stance that he's not a fan of stars forcing their way out of teams, despite having signed a contract. For instance, in Lillard's case, he signed a 2-year max extension with the Trailblazers just last year and will be under contract through the 2024-2025 season. And despite recently committing his future to Portland, it's unclear if he'll actually play for them this coming season. Before I give my reaction to this, let's first listen to what Austin Rivers said.
Regardless of how good of a player you are, man, the NBA is not, it's a privilege. And if you were a free agent, then you could choose where you were going to go.
Right.
That's the business.
Yeah.
But when you're not and you sign a deal, man, that's part of the business, bro. If you get traded somewhere, like, you got to go play, man. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
And this started with like James and Ben and all these guys doing this shit. It's bad for the league. This is why our CBA deal that we just signed, and I don't even want to get heavy into that. That thing is, don't even get me started on that deal that we got going, because it's top heavy. That's why you're seeing all these teams right now with, you either make 50 million or 2. It's the most lopsided contract teams. I mean, it's a joke, bro. I can't tell you how many mid-level guys are signing for vet minimum around the NBA. It's laughable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a scary dynamic when stars start acting like this. And I'm not a big fan of it. I got to be honest with you. And I'm a big fan of Damian. Everyone knows. I mean, I've had so many battles with him. I've been in many playoff series against Damian, and he's probably one of the hardest players I've ever had to guard in my entire life. Everyone knows the clip where I had to like pray to God when he missed that shot, because that's how good he is, man. Like, you just got to hope he misses sometimes. But I don't like when stars do that, because it's just like, what does every other player do? So because you're a good player, like, you just don't have to show up?
After listening to Austin Rivers, my first reaction is I totally agree with him, because look at it from the point of view of the Trailblazers as an organization. They've shown loyalty and support to Damian Lillard in the sense that they gave him the max contract. They've paid him well enough for his services. I'm very sure they wanted him to stay, because it's common sense. He's one of the best players in the league. He's experienced. He's the only one who made them relevant. So here's the deal. Both Lillard and the Blazers will want to try out every option possible before resorting to force. And if it comes to it, the Blazers could spend $216 million over the next few years, forcing Lillard to regret the day he opened his mouth about a trade. They could tell him to go home until he agrees to play for them again. Alternatively, Lillard could sit out, suspending his salary to make the point that he really wants out. And I think we can all agree that either of those solutions would be a failure for both parties. What's clear about this situation is each side has spent time and words convincing each other and the NBA and the fans that they are serious about their demands. Lillard has made it clear that he wants to go to the Heat. The Blazers have made it clear that they want a good deal. So the argument on Lillard's side is that he hasn't come to this point quickly or accidentally. He's been talking about improving the team for at least 2 years now, though tempo and tone picked up in the months prior to free agency, with the team's promises to him taking center stage. And since the Blazers did not pull off any draft day trades and they signed exactly 0 new free agents, Lillard can credibly claim that their pledge to him was broken. And in that scenario, the Blazers are going to take the bigger PR hit. That will happen naturally as the public identifies with the superstars far more than the teams. The contract does give the Blazers the ultimate legal power in the relationship, though right now Lillard is bigger than the Blazers. It's not even close. Trying to keep him is like carrying a killer whale to work. It's cool that you've got one, but what are you going to do with it? How will you get the job done? Because if Lillard stays and plays actively, his shadow will fall across every member of the young roster. Their development, their touches, their achievements will take second place to him. And knowing that he's on his way out, their careers and any sense of normalcy surrounding them won't even start until he's gone. It will be even worse in the locker room. Also, the problem doesn't go away if he stays and he sits. The anger and frustration by the public and media directed towards the franchise would be substantial. It would be daily. Their names would never get mentioned without the issue taking center stage. I think forcing Dame to stay will be the last resort for the Blazers. Dame knows it, his agent knows it, and the world knows it. Cause by forcing him to stay, Portland win the war, but the cost in the meantime would redefine the franchise negatively at the exact time they need positive renewal. This point definitely gives Lillard even more incentive to stick to his demands. On the other hand, Portland holds Lillard's contract. They may not be willing to watch him sit at home until 2026, but they can't be forced into making a trade today. You see, the more public pressure Lillard exerts, the less public sympathy he gets. Also, Lillard cannot sit indefinitely without giving up a huge amount of income. He can't afford to lose his base salary. Also, his visibility and goodwill are key to his endorsement revenue. Just think about it, he already had to overcome anonymity playing in Portland, and he's been more than up to the task by playing well. But losing his microphone, his court time, and his athletic relevance would make him disappear. That won't happen immediately, but if he was thinking of an extended sit-out, it would hurt his pocket more than it would hurt the Blazers. So he'll lose his salary and endorsements. And remember, Lillard is old, so his earning years in the NBA are coming to an end. Finally and critically, you have to note that the Blazers don't have to convince Lillard that they are serious. They have to convince the Miami Heat instead. It's simply a matter of getting a decent price in return. Neither the Miami Heat or the Blazers are against it, so it's up to Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. It's ultimately the best way out of this situation. Miami Heat want to trade Tyler Hero, but the Blazers don't want him. They want to include Kyle Lowry's expiring contract. They will also include their newly drafted player and also Nikola Jovic. The Blazers will probably want Miami to take on Yusuf Nurkic's contract as well, which they consider as player friendly. The problem right now is getting a third team to take Tyler Hero. The other way that it can play out is them getting traded to a team that is not the Miami Heat. This is exactly what Austin Rivers is talking about. His point being, Dame should be ready to play for any team. At the moment, teams have reportedly been scared of offering Portland competitive trade packages for Lillard, given that he's been so set to playing for the Heat. But if Miami continues to refuse to put its best offer on the table, it will eventually become open for other teams to offer their trade packages. The Brooklyn Nets always made sense as a potential Lillard destination, with the ability to include future first-round picks from the Phoenix Suns, the Mavericks, brought in with the Durant and Kyrie Irving trades. The Toronto Raptors can also get involved by offering Scottie Barnes. There have also been whispers about Boston Celtics building a trade package around Derrick White and Robert Williams. The 76ers would also love to add Lillard next to Joel Embiid. Point is, the longer it goes on, the more room there is for other teams to get involved. And I'm very sure wherever Lillard ends up, he'll still play. What do you think about this? Please drop a comment. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Thank you.